Interesting facts about monsters. The human fascination for monsters and other creatures supernatural in nature is undeniable, especially taking into account the hundreds of movies and television series that depict the frightening yet equally interesting characters as heroic, albeit oftentimes barbaric. But here is where we learn how it all started. Welcome to Laddercat Productions. Where it all began, no one can really tell for sure. But history reveals that these grotesque creatures might have made their first appearances as far back as thousands of years ago in Greek mythologies. Among them are the werewolves. The origins of the werewolf legend remains unclear to this day. Some scholars believe, however, that werewolves might have first debuted in the Epic of Gilgamesh and in Greek mythology through the legend of Lycaon. According to legend, Lycaon angered Zeus when he served the latter a meal taken from the remains of a boy who was sacrificed. Zeus turned Lycaon and his sons into wolves as an act of condemnation in return. Then, there was Dracula. In 1897, Bram Stoker published Dracula, a Gothic novel responsible for launching an entirely new literary genre of vampires, the blood-sucking humans. It has always been suspected that Dracula was inspired by Vlad the Impaler, a Romanian prince from Transylvania, who was infamous for the brutal ways he treated his enemies. Decades before that, however, was when Frankenstein first emerged. The idea of Frankenstein was first conceived in the summer of 1816, during a damp night when author Mary Shelley dreamt about a man who created a monster. The world-famous novel started out as a plot about a doctor who was obsessed with reawakening or reanimating the dead. Thus, Frankenstein was born. Thousands of years prior to that, however, there was the mummy. Contrary to popular belief, mummification in prehistoric Egypt occurred naturally. The dryness of the desert, coupled with the scorching heat of the sun, caused the desiccating of cadavers during this time. The cinematic fabrication that led to the legend of the mummy, on the other hand, was allegedly inspired by the curse of Tutankhamun, which newspapers in the 1920s have linked to the early deaths of a number of people who were involved in the 1922 Valley of the Kings expedition by British archaeologist Howard Carter. But while the mummy shared similarities with other undead legends as well as their tragedies, the real-life unearthing of Tutankhamun has made it far more realistic than all the others. Which of these monsters do you suppose are real? Do tell us in the comments below, press like and subscribe, and see us again next time.